artwork with you. But just like you, sometimes we have to move to a different location to make our artwork, and it will still be just as awesome. This week in art class, we are going to make abstract art, but not any kind of abstract art. It is going to be mindful abstract art. And mindfulness, boys and girls, is really important because it's when we focus our thoughts on something specific and on purpose. We are intentionally thinking about a specific thing while we create our artwork. Now, this week, our mindful thought is going to be about our feelings. This has been a very tricky school year, and there have been lots of feelings for all of us in our hearts, in our head, and in our heads while we work through how to do online school and be home all the time or shift back and forth or so many other reasons. So I thought it would be helpful to make some mindful artwork so that we can focus on our feelings and get them out of our bodies in a creative and special way. To do our mindful artwork, we are going to try scribbling. Now, boys and girls, most of the time I tell you not to scribble in art class. So we are artists and we don't scribble, but today is the exception because we're not just going to do any kind of scribbling, we're doing mindful scribbling. So every mark that you make when you scribble today will be on purpose as it makes your feelings come to life on paper. By scribbling our feelings, it can really help us refocus our hearts and our heads onto calmer thoughts. So maybe today you're feeling a little bit grumpy. Well, hopefully, if we're feeling grumpy, we can scribble those grumpy thoughts onto our paper, and in the end, you will feel a little bit calmer or a little happier. If you're already feeling calm and happy, wonderful. That can come out of your artwork too. Now, it's totally okay to feel grumpy sometimes, and that's totally fine and valid. You are allowed to feel those feelings. It's just helpful to get them out of our bodies sometimes. Now, when we scribble mindfully, boys and girls, we are going to try to fill our whole papers. From top to bottom, left to right, the entire thing will hopefully be colored with our feelings, with different lines and marks that intentionally were chosen on purpose to help me get my feelings out on paper. And in the end, you'll have a beautiful artwork that you can show to somebody else and help explain how you feel. Now, to get us inspired and ready this week, we're going to look at this artist right here named Tali Cohen. She is a Brazilian artist, and she makes really cool artwork that is abstract and mindful. When you look at it, you might think, well, Miss Morningstar, that's just a bunch of scribbles and a bunch of lines. I can do that. Well, it might look like scribbles and lines, but it's actually mindfully and purposely chosen. Every line that she makes, she did on purpose for a reason. To make this mindful artwork this week, it's very simple. You need one piece of paper, any kind of paper. Colorful paper, lined paper, white paper, messy paper. It doesn't even have to be a clean, and some coloring supplies. Whatever coloring supplies work for you. I would suggest finding some crayons or some colored pencils today. Markers work too, but sometimes you can squish the tips of the markers down if you press too hard. And I would stay away from paint today because you can't get the same feeling whenever you paint like you can if you use your crayons or your colored pencils today. Now, of course, you can use whatever supplies you have in your house, so don't worry if it's not exactly what I said. So, let's grab our coloring supply and a piece of paper and get ready to do some mindful art making today.
Welcome back. We are ready. Hopefully you found some coloring supplies today to use. I'm going to use a mix of crayons, and I even found some colored pencils. So I'm going to use colored pencils today too. All different colors, and I'm ready. And a nice piece of paper. Now, I would use a smaller piece of paper. It can be one that's all ready to go. It could be a piece that maybe has some marks on it already that's a little bit dirty. That can be just fine. Or it could be a notebook paper. It's up to you. So once we have our piece of paper, there's a couple things that we need to focus on first. First, boys and girls, is how are you feeling today? Think about how you're feeling on the inside. Are you feeling like you are enjoying the beautiful day? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling grumpy? Are you feeling hungry, or are you feeling calm? Maybe you're tired or confused or angry. Take a second and focus and think about how you feel right now. Now remember, when we make our drawing today, our scribble is going to be a mindful scribble, and it's going to help to tell a story about how we are feeling right now. So that's why we need to focus on that feeling. A couple things to think about, boys and girls, is you might want to, while you scribble today, use just one crayon at a time, or maybe you'll grab a couple at a time and draw with a few things at once. You could also think about how you're going to hold your crayon, like how you normally hold your art supplies, or maybe instead you want to hold it like this, like a fist. You can get some different marks if you hold your crayons like a fist instead. It can really help if you're feeling a little bit angry to hold it like a fist instead and grip really hard. Then think about how you want to fill your paper. Do you want to start and do all the edges first? Do you want to make the corners first? Or you want to start in the middle and work your way out? It all depends on how your heart feels. We're going to follow our hearts, and hopefully in the process, if we're not already feeling calm while we make this artwork today, we will feel calmer through our emotions. Now, before we get started, let's think about what some of those emotions would look like in lines. So if I'm feeling very calm today, maybe I'll take my crayons and make big, swoopy, calm lines that just wiggle and twist around. Cool. If I'm feeling excited or anxious, maybe I would do some zigzags that are kind of open and tight like a firework, or even spirals that twist around. Or if I'm feeling angry or upset or frustrated, you could take your crayons and hold them tight and push really hard. That pressure moving those things around might help me get my anger out of my body, through my hands, and out on the crayons on the paper. If you press really hard, that might help you get those hard feelings out of your body. So friends, use whichever colors you want. If you are feeling confused, you could even do little dash lines all over the place. I love seeing what happens if I hold multiple pieces of art supplies all at once. So once you have focused on your feeling, take your art supplies and let's get them all out of our bodies. Let's make our picture filled with our feelings. Go for it. As you're working, boys and girls, make sure you fill up your whole paper. Go the whole way to the edges, and don't be afraid to overlap. See what happens when those colors overlap with another one. When your feelings overlap, sometimes it's confusing, and if we color our overlap feelings, we can see the differences to see that they're all there at the same time. So don't be afraid to overlap. I can see all of my different kinds of feelings all over this paper. I can see sometimes when I feel a little bit angry. These black ones kind of felt like when sometimes I am just anxious and I don't want to sit still anymore. I want to get up and moving. And then at the end, I put lots of yellow in the background because to me, yellow is a really happy color. It's my favorite. And I liked how I can brighten up some of the spaces with some yellow no matter how dark they were. So hopefully, you have a really beautiful feelings paper. It's exciting to see all these colors all together. And now, hopefully you feel a little bit calmer because you had a moment to get all of these feelings out of your head and out of your heart and put them on the paper. So I really hope that now that you're finished, you feel a little bit calmer, a little bit more relaxed, and ready to move on to the next thing that you need to do. Sometimes it just feels good to get feelings out on paper. So remember, next time, if you're not feeling the best, maybe take a minute and mindfully scribble on a piece of paper. In the end, once it's all filled up, it will be a beautiful, colorful, abstract work of art. Now, don't forget to take a picture and submit it on Canvas. I can't wait to see your feelings. If you want to use these artworks, boys and girls, to cut them apart or turn them into anything else, you are welcome to. You could cut hearts or stars or make garlands out of a piece of paper that looks like your feelings. They're beautiful. I hope you had fun, boys and girls.